Hello students, welcome to physics class. Myself is Mr. Sanaullah Khan, NCMS Jhabua. Today we are going to discuss about the mathematical tools which are required for the derivation of physics and numerical based question. So in third chapter we have seen the motion in straight line there. Okay, this two topics are there, differential calculus and integral calculus. This is very important to understand, okay, and to just see the rules and the laws or the theorems related to these topics there. What do we understand by differentiation? These two topics are new for you, okay. Yeah, you will be just study in 12th also, okay. This is the same topics in detail, but we take these topics as the purpose how much the topics up to the limit where the topics are used in physics only, okay. Differential calculus, integral calculus. So calculus is one of the branch of mathematics in which the arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions are done in order to solve the particular quantity which is changing, continuous changes there in a particular quantity. We can get the value of it by applying or by just operating the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. This is said to be the calculus, and calculus, under this calculus two processes are there, differential calculus and the integral calculus. First, today we are going to discuss about differentiation also, only. What do we understand by differentiation, okay, or differential calculus? Same thing is there. This is one of the mathematical tool which will be required for you in solving, in deriving the physics terms there, okay, and in the numerical based questions also. Okay, let us start the differentiation first. Two terms which are very important for the differentiation, that is constants and variables. Constants and variable, what do we understand by constant? I think that you are all are familiar with the constants. Constant means the quantities whose values do not change. These are said to be the constant, okay. The quantities whose values do not change are said to be the constants, and according to this example, if we take pi is there, okay, capital G is there, H is there, numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, these numbers are there, okay, these are also said to be the constant, and we consider it A, B, C, letters of alphabets A, B, C, these are taken as constant terms. According to this constants, these constants are said to be the permanent constants. Their value cannot be changed. Pi, G, universal constant, Planck's constants, 1, 2, 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The numbers may not change, they remains constant. But ABC, we take the ABC are the constant. According to the situations, their values may change sometimes. Okay. So these are said to be the constants. What do we understand by variables? The quantities whose values may change are said to be the variables, and we generally take variables as x, y, z like this. We denote the variables by the alphabets x, y, z. Okay, these are said to be the variables, their values changes. Okay, now in variables, dependent variables are there and independent variables are there. Okay, what do we understand by dependent variable? And what do we understand by independent variable? We take one equations to understand this. Let us take y is equal to 2x plus 1. This is one of the equation here. Y is a variable, x is a variable, and the equation gives us that y is equal to 2x plus 1. If we keep on changing the value of x, first if we take 1, x is equal to 2, x is equal to 3 like this. If we place the value of x here, 2 into 1, 2 plus 1, 3, y become 3, 2 into 2, 2 into 2, 4 plus 1, 5, y become 5, 2 into 3, 6 plus 1, 7, y is equal to 7. So when we place the values of x here, the values of y changing accordingly. It means that the value of y variable depends on the value of x. It means that this is dependent variable and x is independent variable. Okay, so this is said to be y is dependent and x is said to be independent variable. Okay, These are said to be the dependent and independent variables. Okay, let us go through first next thing related to this differentiation, that is the function. What do we understand by function? Function means that if the value of one quantity, y, suppose y, by taking the same example, y depends on the value of another quantity x. What do we understand by function? If value of one quantity y depends on the value of another quantity x, then y is said to be the function of x. Okay, then we can say that y is said to be the function of x, and we write that is in this way, y is equal to f of x. It means that y is the function of x. This is the definition of function. We will use this, y is the function of x. If dependent variable is there, independent variable is there, the value of this one is dependent on it, we can call it is the function of x. This is related with the function. What do we understand by the differentiation? Differentiation tells us that the change in one quantity depends on the change in the another quantity. Okay, how close the change of the one quantity depends on the another quantity. It means that change in the one quantity with respect to the another quantity is said to be the differentiation actually. What do we see here? Suppose that if we take 2 points, point P here, x1, y1 is the position of point P. Okay, a particle is there at point P, its position is x1, means along x direction, and its position is y1 along y direction there. Okay, according to it, it moves from P to Q point here. Here its position become x2 and y2. Okay, so we say that here, according to it, when x changes from x1 to x2, then y also changes from y1 to y2. It means that change in y takes place of a particle depends on the change in x. It means that we can say that rate of change of which quantity y of a particle depends on the rate of on the change in quantity x. So we can call it rate of change of y with respect to x, and we can write the difference in quantity y, that is y2 minus y1, upon difference in quantity x, that is x2 minus x1. So this change we can write like this also, del y upon del x. So this is said to be the rate of change of one quantity with respect to the another quantity. We can call it the derivative or differential coefficient. How do we write this? How do we understand this? Let us see now. We have seen the position time graph, we have seen the graphs related velocity time graph, okay, in chapter there. Suppose that this is the x direction and this is y. Curve is there is a variable change in the curve. I consider this is point here, x1 point here, according to x this is x2, according to y this is y1, and according to this is said to be y2. Slope of graph gives us that tan theta is equal to what? Perpendicular upon base is equal to what? Now if we consider that this is slope of graph, I consider point A and point B here, the slope of graph is this one, tan theta, that is perpendicular upon base. How much change in y is there? y2 minus y1. how much change in x is there? x2 minus x1. So we can say that slope of graph P upon B is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, that is del y is equal to del x. Rate of change of y with respect to x. There is a rate of change of y with respect to x, but here according to the slope, this is not exact slope. We cannot get the exact value here. We get the exact value only if these 2 points A and B, means x1 and x2, become very close to each other. They come very close to each other such that the difference will be near about 0. Or del x means the change in x, when 2 points come very close to each other, the difference will be near about to 0, means next step of this difference will be 0 only. Okay. In that condition only we can get the exact value here, slope. Otherwise this is not a slope, this is going out here second, it is making second here. Okay. So this rate of change according to this graph is said to be the average rate of change. Average rate of change. Rate of change of y with respect to x. If del x tends to 0, it is very small that 2 points come very close that the del x tends to 0, then only we can get the exact slope, exact value of slope. That is the average changes to instantaneous. Instantaneous means when del x is very close to 0 or near about to 0, then we get the instantaneous value of this change. Okay. So we can write how this rate of change. Therefore rate of change, average rate of change will become limit del x tends to 0 del y by del x, which is equal to dy by dx. Okay. When the slope is very close, value minor that both terms of x come very close to each other here, and this very simple line is there, slope is there, it will become the, we can get the exact value of slope from here. Okay. And it will become here dy by dx. What is dy by dx? Therefore this dy by dx is said to be the differential coefficient or derivative of y, coefficient of derivative of y with respect to x. So we can call it dy by dx as the differentiation of y with respect to x also, and this is only we required here, this is said to be the differentiation. Okay. So this is the mathematical tool here. Now in order to use this differentiation, in order to solve the problems related to it, we should know the theorems of differentiations. So let us write down the theorems of differentiation, how to solve the problems related with the differentiation dy by dx. Differentiation is required in physics. How? Dy means rate of change of y with respect to x. So in case of physics, how do we apply this? In physics we can say that rate of change of position with respect to time. So rate of change of position with respect to time, we can get velocity. Rate of change of velocity with respect to time, we can get acceleration. This is average, this is average, that is del v upon del t. But instantaneous velocity will get v instantaneous as dx by dt and a instantaneous as dv by dt. In this way we can use this differentiation in our physics term, and we are going to use it Okay, before that we should know the theorems or formulas related with the differentiation. Let us go through these theorems of differentiation one by one and try to understand it. Write the differentiation, theorems of differentiation. We will just try to understand the important terms related or formulas related with the differentiations which are required. Okay, so first we start the theorems of differentiation or rules or formulas of differentiation. Theorems of differentiation. Number one is that if y is a function of y is equal to c, where c is a constant. Okay, c is a constant term. Then differentiation of this term y dy by dx will be equal to 0. Dy by dx of constant is always equal to 0. Why? Because in differentiation change is required there. According to its definition only, rate of change of one quantity with respect to other quantity. If there is no change, constant is there, then its differentiation will become differentiation with respect to x is equal to 0. Okay. Second term we use here, if y is equal to x to the power n, where n is an integer, then its differentiation will become dy by dx is equal to, it will become n x to the power n minus 1. How do we use this? We use this, suppose that according to it, if y is equal to x to the power 5 is given to us, x to the power 5 is given to us, then its differentiation dy by dx will become how much? 5 will come here, then x, then 5 to the power 5 minus 1. It means that 5x to the power 4. Okay, in this way we can solve it. Next one is that if y is equal to cu, cu means that if c is a constant and u is the function of x, then in that case we can use this formula. Okay, we can write, differentiate it dy by dx, we leave the constant term as it is and we can just differentiate the term u, which is the just function of x. U is the function of x, we can differentiate u there. This is the third theorem. Fourth number, if y is plus or minus u, v is plus or minus w, like this, 2-3 terms are there and in between there is addition or subtraction may be there, and you are asked to differentiate them with respect to x. U, v, w are the functions of x. How do we write that? Then it will become dy by dx is equal to du by dx plus or minus dv by dx plus or minus dw by dx. In this way we can differentiate each terms u, v and w with respect to x and we can get the values of it. Next, fifth theorem is that y is equal to uv, both terms are there, u and v two terms are there and both terms are just we can say that these both terms are in product form. There is a product between them multiplied there. U and v are function of x, they are multiplied. How to solve this? We write here the differentiation of y dy by dx is equal to, first we leave the first term u, differentiate second, then plus, then we leave the second term v and differentiate first. In this way we can solve this type of problems. Sixth one, y is equal to u upon v in fraction form. Two terms are there and they are in fraction form. How do we write? This is denominator, this is numerator. So we can say that here dy by dx is equal to, first denominator du by dx minus sign, then numerator dv by dx upon v square. In this way we can solve. Differentiation of any term x, suppose that if y is equal to x, then its differentiation will become 1. So we can write dy by dx of this x will become 1. Okay, this is 7th theorem. 8th we can write, okay, all of you please note down this, these are very important formulas and theorems related with differentiation. We are going to use this in solving the problems. Okay, 8th one. 8th one is that 8th, if y is equal to u to the power n, where u is the function of x, what do we do? In that case, differentiation dy by dx is equal to, here we can write n power will come first, u to the power n minus 1, and here into du by dx again. How do we solve? How do we apply this? This type of questions may be there. Suppose that y is equal to 1 upon x plus 3. So we write this x plus 3 as x plus 3 to the whole power minus 1. If we take this term up, it will become minus 1. Okay, then dy by dx, by using the theorem number 8 here, dy by dx of this one. Okay, so minus 1 will come, then x to the power 3 minus 1 according to this n minus 1, n is minus 1 already, into du by dx means d by dx of x plus 3. Now minus 1, negative sign is there, this will become x plus 3 to the whole power minus 2. Now here d by dx of x is 1, just now we have written here d by dx of x is 1. So 1 and d by dx of constant is 0. So we can get 1 plus 0 constant, then we can get this value minus x plus 3 to the whole power minus 2, or it will become minus 1 upon x plus 3 to the whole power 2. In this way we can solve the 8th theorem. Now let us see some trigonometric functions also there, and their differentiation is there. Okay, this is 8th one. Trigonometric functions, let us take 9th one. If y is equal to sin x, then dy by dx of sin x will become cos x. 10th one, if y is equal to cos x, then dy by dx of cos x is equal to minus sin x. 11th, if y is equal to tan x, then dy by dx of tan x is equal to sec square x. 12, if y is equal to sec x, then dy by dx of sec x is equal to sec x tan x. Then we take number 13, y is equal to cot x. Number 13, if y function is equal to cot x, then dy by dx is equal to minus cosec square x. 14th, we can say that if y is equal to cosec x, then its differentiation dy by dx will become minus cosec x cot x. Okay, another some terms related, if y is equal to e to the power x, then its differentiation will remain same, its differentiation will become dy by dx is equal to e to the power x. If y is equal to log x to the base e, then its differentiation dy by dx will become 1 upon x. Suppose that if y is equal to e to the power u, now u is the function of x, how do we solve it? Then its differentiation dy by dx will become e to the power u and d by dx of u. d by dx of u. How do we get this type of problem? Since we can say that if y is equal to e to the power sin x, then its differentiation dy by dx is equal to e to the power sin x, and d by dx of sin x is cos x. E to the power sin x into cos x. This will be the result for it. Okay. In this way, this type of problems may be there. Suppose that 18th one we write if y is equal to log u to the base e, then its differentiation dy by dx will become 1 by u du by dx, means the differentiation of u, where u is the function of x. In this way, we can solve the problems related with this. By using this, these are very important theorems of differentiations, formulas. You will have to go through them and you have to practice them. Let us take one example from the book, that how to solve, how to apply this differentiation. Okay, suppose that a problem is given to us. Okay, so let us take this example. If s is equal to 2t to the power 3 minus 3t square plus 2, then determine the position, velocity and acceleration of a particle at the end of 2 seconds. Here the displacement is given to us, s is equal to 2 to the power minus 3 minus 3t square plus 2, and what we have to find out? We have to find out the position of a particle, velocity and acceleration of particle when the time t is equal to 2 seconds given to us. We measure the displacement, position in meter and time in second here. Okay, we use time t is equal to in second and displacement in meter. So let us take now, since displacement is given to us, s is equal to 2t to the power minus 3 t square plus 2. According to this, we have to find out first the position of a particle. Actually time t is equal to given to us, so we write that position at the end of 2 seconds, that is time t is equal to 2. We place the value of t is equal to 2 here and we determine the displacement of a particle. So displacement will become 2 into t to the power 3 is there, 2 to the power 3 minus 3 into t to the power 2 there, 2 square plus 2. 2 to the power 3 means 8, we write here 2 into 8 minus 2 to the power 2 4, 3 into 4 plus 2. What do we get here? Therefore, displacement s is equal to 2 8 is 16 minus 3 4 is 12 plus 2. So here 16 plus 2 18 minus 12, we are getting 6 meter. Therefore, we can say that displacement of particle after 2 seconds will be 6 meter. This is our first result. First result is position. We have taken out the position of a particle at the end of 2 seconds. Now we have to determine the velocity of a particle at the end of 2 seconds. How do we get velocity? Since displacement is given to us, so we know that by the formula, rate of change in position of a particle with respect to time is velocity. Means change in displacement upon time is velocity. We know this formula since v is equal to ds upon dt. ds upon dt means the differential coefficient of displacement s. Means we have to differentiate this displacement, given displacement with respect to time, then we will get the velocity. So here let us now solve here, let us try to find out the differentiation of displacement. d by dt of s, the value of s I am putting here 2 to the power minus 3 t square plus 2. d by dt separately we have to differentiate this term. So this is a constant term in first, and this is t cube, we have to differentiate it. So we write 2 into d by dt of t cube minus, this is constant, constant will be out, d by dt of t square. This is constant, so the constant will be 0. Differentiation of constant will be 0. D by dt of 2, it will be 0. Now 3t to the power 3, t to the power 3, what does it mean? It means that we apply this formula. D by dx of x to the power n, it gives us what? It gives us n x to the power n minus 1. It means that if we differentiate t to the power 3 with respect to time t, it will become 3 t to the power 3 minus 1. It means that 3t square. We will get 3t square here. So we write 2 into 3t square minus 3 into differentiation of 2t, t square means t square, what do we get here? We get 2t to the power 2 minus 1, it means that 2t. So in place of this, we will get 2t plus 0. What do we get here? 2 3s are 6t square minus 6t will be the velocity of particle. Now this velocity we have we got the expression for the velocity here. Now we have to find out the velocity after 2 seconds. So what will be the result? Velocity after 2 seconds, we have to place the value of time t is equal to 2 here. We get v is equal to 2 into 6 into t square means 2 square minus 6 into 2. So 6 into 4 minus 12. So 24 minus 12, we will get 12. So velocity will become 12 meter per second. So at the end of 2 seconds, we get the velocity of particle is 12 meter per second. This is the velocity second result we have taken out. Third result is we have to determine the acceleration of particle at the end of 2 seconds. So how do we get acceleration? Rate of change in velocity with respect to time will give us the acceleration. Means change in velocity with respect to time will give us the acceleration. Okay. So let us take out acceleration now. Third part of this question. Rate of change, since we know that A is equal to rate of change in velocity with respect to time. What is the value of velocity? Just now we have taken out. V is equal to 6t square minus 6t. So d by dt of 6t square minus 6t. When we differentiate this separately with respect to time t, for t square we get 2t. It means that 6 into 2t will become 12t minus 6 is constant, differentiation of time t with respect to t will get 1, because differentiation of x with respect to x will be 1. So here differentiation of time t with respect to t will be 1. So 6 into 1 will get 6 only. So here 12t minus 6 will be the acceleration expression. What will be the acceleration of a particle at the end of 2 seconds? After 2 seconds, after time t is equal to 2 seconds, the acceleration A is equal to 12 into 2 minus 6. It means that 24 minus 6, 18 meter per second square. The unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So its acceleration after time t will become 18 meter per second square. This is our required solution for the third part of this question. So in this way we can find out the position, velocity, acceleration of a particle by applying the differentiation here. In this way this type of problems will be done. Okay. This is one of the application of differentiation. Now we will continue the next topic, integral calculus, in next lecture. Till then all of you stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye. Thank you.